Hello everybody, I am back on YouTube today to talk to you about extroverted feeling and introverted feeling. I just did 3 videos on introverted intuition. I think I've done enough, I think I've spent enough time on that topic, at least for a little while. So I will be moving on to extroverted feeling and introverted feeling. So, the first point I want to make about these two cognitive function types, the pairs, is that everyone uses introverted feeling and extroverted feeling. Every type. Types with extroverted feeling is their 8th cognitive function, can sense extreme emotion in others even without using anything else. So this is one of the function pairs that everybody uses every day regardless of their type. So here's a clip of someone being extremely angry. So any type, even the types that have extroverted feeling as their last function, as their 8th function, can look at that video and understand that that person is extremely angry. You don't need to have extroverted feeling in your first four function stack. It doesn't need to be your first 4 functions in order for you to understand how other people are feeling. And you don't need to use introverted feeling to understand that. You use extroverted feeling because it's one of those cognitive functions that you use every day, regardless of your function. Now, extroverted feeling is stronger in people who use it in their first 4, but people with it as their 8th use it as well. Here is a clip of someone saying something that is extremely offensive.
You see, Rick, whatever you do, no matter what, you don't mess with the New World Order. New World Order is this, and it's really very simple. So even if you're stupid, which you very may well be, you can understand it.
Now, I don't use introverted feeling myself because I'm INFJ, but when I see that video, I am very offended, and I know that I'm offended by it. I can understand my feelings enough to know that I'm offended by that extremely offensive video. I can use introverted feeling, despite it not being one of my first functions. So, the same could be said of any function, any sane person, regardless of their type. So, the same can be said of sensing functions, but not of intuiting and thinking functions. That's an important distinction I think that I've seen. An introverted dominant, like myself or an INTJ, does not use extroverted intuition ever. At least I don't think we do. And someone who uses introverted thinking, like myself, never uses extroverted thinking. I don't know how to use it, because when I try to think of a solution to a problem, I always go to introverted thinking. I don't know how to use extroverted thinking, and I don't know how to use extroverted intuition. But the same can't be said of sensing functions, because I can remember things in the past fairly well. I can use introverted sensing to remember things in my past. I mean, I remember when I started this video. Now, I don't remember when I was born, or I don't remember this day 1,000 days ago. I don't think I do, but I don't have a good memory, but I do have a memory. Introverted sensing is remembering past details and events. I can do that despite it being my 8th function. So that's the distinction between sensing functions and feeling functions. Everyone uses all 4 sensing and feeling functions, but everyone only uses 2 of the thinking and intuiting functions. So back onto introverted feeling and extroverted feeling. Extroverted feeling is when you rely on other people to feel emotions. This is a graphic that I made that I hope explains visually how introverted feeling works and how extroverted feeling works. So the big guy who's bigger than the other guy, the ENFP, he has a big heart and it's very red, it's very dark. And that's your introverted feeling. So the heart represents the person's emotions. So that's introverted feeling. And then we have the smaller guy up in the right corner, um, who has a smaller heart. Well, it's not a smaller heart; his entire body's smaller. But anyway, he has a heart that is much less dark. It's a lot less red. It's a lot more transparent. But you see that he has a straw coming from his mouth going into the introverted feeling guy. Now the smaller guy is an INFJ. He uses extroverted feeling. That straw represents extroverted feeling, because people who use extroverted feeling don't understand their own emotions. They need to look to people who use introverted feeling in order to understand their emotions. They don't have a lot of emotion that comes from internally, so they need to look to other people's projecting internal emotions in order to feel things. So that's why the INFJ is looking toward the ENFP to receive emotion, because extroverted feeling is all looking outward at other people, and introverted feeling is looking inward at your own emotions. So extroverted feeling has nothing to do with assimilation. I've heard this a lot of times. On other videos where people say that extroverted feeling is all about fitting in with society. Becoming Nazis, I think, is one of the examples people have used. Extroverted feeling caused people to go with the flow in Nazi Germany, which allowed Hitler to take over the country, because all the people were using FE in order to assimilate and just go with the flow and not hurt anybody's feelings. That's one example I think I've heard people use. But extroverted feeling has nothing to do with assimilation. It doesn't have anything to do with changing your value system to reflect others. It's just it has nothing to do with value systems. Someone who uses extroverted feeling is not going to change their value systems to better reflect other people's. So many people say extroverted feeling is all about harmony, and that is because types who use it need others to be happy for they themselves to be happy. So the INFJ up here uses extroverted feeling because he doesn't have a very strong heart. He doesn't have a very strong internal emotion. He doesn't have very strong internal emotions to be able to be happy himself, so he needs to look outward to other people to be able to feel things. So the extroverted feeling does have a lot to do with harmony, because if the INFJ over here wants to be happy, the people around him also need to be happy. So he's naturally going to want to make everyone else happy so that he himself can be happy. So extroverted feeling does have a lot to do with harmony. It does, but that's not what it is fundamentally. So now, because FE strives for harmony, types who use it will often align themselves socially to everyone around them. Examples of that are manners and posture. I'm going to play a video at the end of this, actually 2 videos, but one video is going to talk a lot about that. A clip, actually. I'm not going to play the entire video because it's not mine, but I'll have a clip to it and I'll link to it in the description. Because I thought it was a really good video, and it did a really good job of taking an actual event that happened, an actual video of people interacting with themselves, and pausing it and saying, okay, this is what's happening, and now this is what's happening. This is introverted feeling. That's why this person's doing that. That's why that person's doing that, because that's introverted feeling. That's extroverted feeling. So I'm going to link to that later. I'm going to play a clip. So those are the examples of how FE can present itself. Extroverted feeling, however, does not have anything to do with aligning your morals, ethics, or value system to mirror those of others. Extroverted feeling only has to do with emotions. It doesn't have anything to do with value systems. Now, value systems can be affected by it, but they're not fundamentally the same. So when you're looking for someone who uses extroverted feeling, often they will come across as very nice and caring, while people who use introverted feeling often come across as very sincere. That's because introverted feeling is very focused. It's not all over the place. It's a very focused beam of feeling, and they can care very, very deeply about things in a way that people who use extroverted feeling just can't. And that's one of the reasons why INFJs are attracted to ENFPs, because INFJs want to feel deeply about things, and they do in a way, but they need to be able to see that deep feeling in someone who uses introverted feeling in ENFP to be able to truly feel that depth of sincerity themselves. So these are the two videos I would like to recommend. The first one explains in detail what the two feeling functions look like in everyday life. Here's that video clip.
I'm going to sit like this, see? Is that too informal?
I think it was so wonderful for us to kind of do that, and I think it was a very necessary thing. I'm going to copy Kerry's sitting position, because I don't know why.
Does it make you feel better?
Yeah, it just makes me feel like we're in line and bonded, and so yeah, I think that was one of the great things about that.
And the second one introduces a way of telling them apart by examining a person's microexpressions, which in many cases proves to be much more accurate than conventional typing methods. Most of the types test indicators online ask you questions that you have to answer yourself, but it doesn't really test you on how you actually react to things and how you actually express yourself. So what that video does is it shows you ways of actually telling through a person's smile whether or not they use FE or FI, using subconscious things that your mind does that you don't have any control over, that you can't change based on a situation. So I have an FE smile, and I can't do an FI smile because I don't use FI. But this video will show you how to differentiate those two things.
Well, you said the distance between the bottom of nose and upper lip just kind of squishes. Right. Yeah, there was a huge difference there.